What if the Chamber of Secrets was never opened? What if Lucius Malfoy didn't stupidly decide to put the diary into Ginny's cauldron and kept it? Welcome back to Potter Actors as we try and help old Voldy to reclaim the wizarding world. Before that, I'm going to try and upload every single day in December, so make sure to stick around for the next upload coming soon. So Lucius Malfoy keeps a diary. The first big question we have to ask ourselves is, would Dumbledore know about the Horcruxes if the diary was never put into Hogwarts? So let's assume he does. This creates a catalyst of Harry's time at Hogwarts. I'm going to go through them. So no basilisk attacks in Chamber of Secrets. Harry would never meet Dobby. He would get his friend's letters. Vernon's guests don't get covered in cake, so he doesn't imprison Harry, so he can go freely to the Weasleys or apply to them to go. Without Dobby, Harry won't receive a warning from the Ministry of Magic, meaning that in the 5th book, he won't probably have a hearing. Ron, Fred and George might not come up to pick Harry, so he doesn't visit the Burrow, but I do think he would. Dobby doesn't block the platform 9 3/4, so Arthur Weasley doesn't get put in trouble. Ron doesn't break his wand, he keeps the same wand, which means that he probably will be able to curse Draco later in the Chamber of Secrets. And so Ron would actually attack him, so we wonder what would happen with that. Ginny is never possessed by Voldemort's Horcrux, so she can't dispel Harry's worries about being possessed in Order of the Phoenix, and he doesn't save her life, which might affect their romantic relationship. Dobby doesn't make the bludger target Harry, so we don't know about Skelgro until later on. There's probably no dueling club from Lockhart. People, most importantly, and I think this is a really important point, is they don't know Harry will be a Parseltongue. Obviously, in the first book, it's sort of we already know he can talk to snakes, but he won't realise it himself properly until later on. We don't know about Polyjuice Potion yet. We don't meet Fawkes until a later book. We don't find out why Hagrid was expelled. He doesn't get sent to Azkaban, which means that he probably wouldn't be the teacher there because he still has this charges against him for opening the Chamber of Secrets. Aragog won't be mentioned at all until Half-Blood Prince. You won't meet Fudge. The Gryffindor sword, most importantly, won't be covered in basilisk venom, which means it can't be used to destroy Horcruxes. The Gryffindor might not win the House Cup. The diary's absence likely slows down Dumbledore's Horcrux hunt, and he might live longer. The diary might actually never be found, and Voldemort might win. Harry having a piece of Voldemort's soul inside him isn't foreshadowed, because it obviously is a little bit foreshadowed there. Voldemort's relation to Slytherin isn't discovered, but I think it's obvious Dumbledore probably investigated the Gaunts at the time. Lucius Malfoy will stay on the Hogwarts Board of Governors. Lockhart doesn't get obliviated, and Dobby isn't freed and doesn't have Harry in the later books. Most importantly, Goblet of Fire with the Gillyweed, the Room of Requirement in Order of the Phoenix. So it has quite big of a knock-on effect. I do think Lockhart probably would have left as teacher when everyone realised he was a fraud. So I think that the big question, without the diary, I'm going to go all the way up to the 7th book. Now, the things I just mentioned are the events that could happen between the end of Chamber and Secrets all the way to the end of Half-Blood Prince. I don't think anything majorly would have changed apart from the things that I mentioned, but this is my idea for what would happen with the 7th book. So, without the diary, I'm going to be going towards the 7th book without the Chamber of Secrets being open. The sword is not found and certainly isn't a Horcrux killer. Additionally, the diary is perhaps the most obscure Horcrux out of all of Voldemort's Horcruxes, which would be incredibly hard to track down, especially when most likely it was kept in Lucius Malfoy's vault in Gringotts before he gave it to Ginny. Breaking into one vault was hard enough in Gringotts, but two, come on, that would never have worked out for the heroes, Hermione and Ron. They would never been able to loot Bellatrix and loot Lucius's. I assume they would have been kept in the same place, so I assume that's where the diary was originally kept. Now, let's say that in the final battle, all the Horcruxes are destroyed. They managed to get the locket, Dumbledore managed to destroy the ring, and they do manage to go to Gringotts, but only get rid of the cup and they also managed to get the tiara as well. So the ones that are left would be the diary, Nagini, and the remaining soul in Voldemort. Now, what would have happened? Well, I think it's pretty obvious what I think. Imagine Voldemort leading his basilisk into a battle. Now, we know how mighty the basilisk is. I'm about Fawkes to claw out his eyes out in one shot like he does in Chamber of Secrets. The Death Ray could easily kill some of our heroes, if not all. Now, it could be plausible for someone to claw out his eyes. It doesn't seem too tricky. But Fawkes actually wouldn't be able to do it at all because, again, Fawkes would have probably left when Dumbledore died. Now, would the diary possess someone? The answer to that is probably no, because Voldemort already knew about the Harry going after the Horcruxes after Gringotts, so he'll probably keep the diary as safe as possible to avoid his death. Personally, there is still a way out for Harry in all of this, which is probably quite obvious. By beating the Basilisk, Neville killing Nagini, and successfully taking the diary. Now, beating the Basilisk, I think Harry could do. He managed to do it basically by himself, stabbing him with a sword and then Fawkes healing him. They might be sacrificing a few of our heroes, but I do think that they would be able to take down the Basilisk. But getting the diary. Now, it is important to note that Lucius Malfoy's downfall under Voldemort started when he learned the diary's destruction, so he may be somewhat trustworthy if he managed to keep the diary safe for the final battle and only lost obviously the prophecy. But meaning it is possible, I think he could have turned against Voldemort. But I have a more wild theory for you guys today. So Dumbledore kept a close eye on Tom Riddle, meaning that he may have known he kept a diary, and if he had not tracked down the Horcrux before his painting could have if he had not tracked down the Horcrux before, his painting in the office could have informed Snape. Now, as we know, Snape was in cahoots with Dumbledore throughout the 7th book. I could imagine a Snape versus Lucius duel, as it always made more sense to me that many Death Eaters would despise Snape and actively go after him. So we could have gotten a great ending with the Basilisk fighting all of our heroes, Snape versus Lucius, Neville versus Nagini, and Harry versus Voldemort. Now, Snape versus Lucius would have been a really cool battle. I do think Snape wins that one, and he could have actually also survived afterward. So I think that is the way that they could have done it. Now, the ways they would have had to kill the Horcrux, obviously they know of certain spells that could do it, but they would probably most likely use the Basilisk. After destroying the Basilisk, they'd use the tooth from it to kill it. Now, I'm not sure how they would have killed the cup and all that stuff. They might have actually left it until the final battle, but surely Voldemort would have sensed it maybe and gone straight after them. So there is my wild fan theory, and again leads to Harry beating Voldemort. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys in my next theory. Peace.